It's the same old song and dance. New phone comes out, we all rush to review it, a bunch of folks will try to say if it's worth it after a couple days, then we all rush out to review the next new phone. How a phone ages is as important as that out-of-the-box experience. So, let's do something about that. Released in March of last year, Apple attempted a second try at a mid-range phone, and reactions were mixed. Nearly a year later, how has this mighty mouse held up? It's time for our iPhone SE after the buzz. Let's get part of the verdict out of the way right now. The iPhone SE is my personal favorite Apple product of 2016. For all the jokes about the iPhone Snooze Edition, this is a terrifically executed gadget, expertly targeted at a specific demographic. Judged on those merits, it's one of the most successful smartphones that Apple has ever built. The iPhone 5S was the culmination of Apple's small form factor phones, released before creeping up the screen size on the iPhone 6, a blend of metal and glass, recalling the sharp modern lines of the iPhone 4 but with a more durable rear case. Apple recycled that design exactly here, and it's held up well. I was happy to find an old 5S case in a drawer, so admittedly the SE has spent most of its time in this bumper, but screen and cameras are still looking clean. All of the improvements are internal, throwing in the chipset and camera found in the iPhone 6S, like taking an old popular Roadster and dropping in a modern engine. This phone is a screamer, and has become my preferred platform for running iOS betas. Now on iOS 10.3, we benefit from Apple's latest features, and for a mid-ranger, have not experienced any significant slowdown, a situation often found with slightly older phones running more demanding software. For phones released in 2016, we miss precious few of the omitted features found in the iPhone 7. When looking at on-the-go use, I really can't remember the last time I used peaking or popping, so it's not been much of an issue on the SE. Losing that taptic feedback also means this phone has a built-in headphone jack, a slightly higher quality headphone jack over the iPhone 7's dongle. For folks on cabled headphones, this is a happy compromise to make. You can use 3.5mm or Lightning, and moving over to Bluetooth means you'll experience the exact same audio quality as any higher-priced iPhone. Like the iPhone 6S, it's the more complete solution for legacy and future headphone audio. The camera is still terrifically competitive, losing a little in low-light performance against the hardware stabilization on the iPhone 7, but delivering Apple's characteristic post-processing, excellent HDR, and wonderfully smooth UHD video. This is all tied up in software which is just better designed for smaller screens. As iPhones have gotten larger, iOS hasn't really evolved to address bigger hardware. We might have mocked older iPhone commercials, your thumb reaches from here to here. But Apple wasn't really wrong. Top corner-mounted controls, sure, gestures can replace most of that interaction, but the visual indicator is in a location you can't really reach on a Plus. If you have normal-sized hands, Apple's screen shrink helps vertically, but provides no one-handed benefit reaching across the phone. The SE suffers none of this, and offers one of the best one-thumb experiences the smartphone world has ever seen. Even the battery life is held up well for such a small cell. A year later, the SE can still largely keep up with most flagships, draining about 6% in a media test streaming 30 minutes of video over Wi-Fi at 190 lux. This phone isn't designed to be a multimedia or gaming champ, though this chipset chews up future fight better than almost all high-end Android phones. In the hands of its target demo, it's an all-day champ at keeping people connected and interacting in short bursts to get work done. There are, of course, bummers. We absolutely appreciate the stereo speakers on the newest iPhones, and enhanced water resistance delivers more peace of mind. But the biggest bummer with the SE is storage. A base model phone with 16GB was a tight fit in 2015, let alone now. It certainly has a chilling effect on how often you shoot that high-quality UHD video. Now, this is extremely competitive price territory, but a $50 jump for 64GB of built-in storage keeps this phone close to the current crop of premium mid-rangers. There's still an Apple tax at play, of course, but it's not completely out of step with what the market can bear here. So let's wrap this up. 11 months later, where's that leave us with the iPhone SE? To finish my verdict from the top of this video, Apple is building a bum reputation for its vision of progress and how it supports industry standards. The once cohesive ecosystem is a little disjointed at the moment, removing headphone jacks on phones but keeping them on laptops, USB-C on MacBooks but USB-A cables included with the iPhone, rumors pointing to a new accessory port. It's easy to see why there's been a bit of frustration in Apple land. So when I say that this is one of the most successful phones Apple has ever produced, we obviously don't mean in terms of overall sales or in terms of breaking new ground. Apple executives saw the remainder of a market, folks still buying lower-cost, smaller iPhone 5s, and built a product specifically targeted at that demographic while still being able to support future software. Balancing those improvements against costs, the SE absolutely nails what it sets out to do: satisfy a legacy market. It's not a sustainable market, and we probably won't see a refresh to this exact same form factor again, but for the moment, it's a jewel of a gadget. Folks who enjoy tech life on the bleeding edge should rightfully ignore this phone. But we all know people, friends, family, who hold on to phones longer, or don't need the most robust multimedia platform, or just don't want to buy new cases or car mounts. The iPhone SE is a terrific solution for them. As always, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more reviews like these and help us out with some sharing on your favorite social networks. For Pocketnow, I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, some gadget guy on Twitter and Instagram, and I will catch you all on the next review.